Young voters are voters who must have access to receive the latest news and better understand the direction of goals or policies of the prospective leader. They are also the biggest focal point of an election campaign because they can easily share campaign news if they support the candidate. About our setup, the first is the framing in the status quo. The current status quo, where young people are arguably the determinant of the victory of a candidate for leader in election. Even in the status quo, there are some presidential candidates in Indonesia who use the jargon that can persuade young people to support them. Some even declare themselves as millennial president, so that can be easily accepted among the youth and get support from the youth. In addition, there are several potential leaders who are relying votes from several celebrities who they believe can campaign for them among young people. These candidates that the votes of young people are indeed very impactful of election. The second one is about the characterization. This motion believes that by giving a greater weight to young people, they are really very influential for voters in a country. Because look at the time of the reform period. Because of the unrest of young people at the time, that very dark period of misery can finally be passed by the efforts and movements of the young people at that time. In principle, elections hold by the principle of fairness in their application, whatever justice for the elected or for the elected. By giving a higher weight of voters, young people, we feel fair because this is a form of appreciation from the government for young people and a way for the government to campaign awareness to choose leaders who are truly worthy. The second one about the stakeholder. There are two actors in our motion today. That the first is the young people. The characteristic of young people is they are more interested in exploring things that are widely discussed and have a long-term impact on them in the future. This makes young people know for sure every news about the future leaders in their country. This has happened because if they choose the wrong leader to lead their country is in one period which is not a short time, this can have a bad consequence for them in the future, and that's why they first explore whose leaders is worthy of their choice and lead them forward. See, also the main interest of young people is that they want them to have leaders who can listen to aspiration and input and accept criticism and have policies that are in line with the goals of young people in the future, such as providing jobs, optimizing technology, and others, because young people have an orientation so that their country can develop with them, also being able to take part in the developing countries, in development of their countries. The second stakeholder or actor is the government. The characteristic of the government is that they want to be able to make the country develop in accordance with the aspiration and people, and to be able to make this country developed in the line with previous regulation. And the main interest of the government is that they can always carry out sustainable policies and not to stagnate for the program of the people, which by giving greater voting weight to young people will make the interest of this government achieved, because young people are also they will definitely pay more attention to the sustainability of the policies of the leaders they choose, and they dare to citizens and protest sustainability of the policies of the leaders, which is often have unusual way of expression. So that when young people critiques they will immediately get attention and support from other people, because their critics sometimes have unusual way of expression. They have a creative way to do this critics. And next about our stance. Approving this motion by giving greater weight, we really support into this motion today. That the motion today is this House believe that the voice of younger voters could carry more weight in all national election. Approve this motion by giving greater weight to the vote than other groups, for example, by giving different ballots and ballot box to young people than other groups to distinguish when accumulating votes, which previously looked at the interest of the actors in this motion. Both actors equally want to the long-term impact on the country, and the people of election of a leader will be good in the future. And we believe by supporting into this motion today can achieve this interest of from every actor in this motion today. Challenge point. There are two challenge points from our side. That the first, if we can prove that it's okay to give more values to young people in national election is okay, so we can win this debate. And the second, if we can prove that indeed the status quo does require this motion to be implemented, then we win this debate. The first justification point is it okay to give greater voting rights to young people? Because look again at the characteristic of young people, who they will try to find out carefully first to make choices. This also happens to people who do not include young people, but young people tend to be more enthusiastic not only when looking for the advantage of leaders, but also when looking for shortcomings after which they can compare in more detail and detail who they should choose. But the biggest problem that will occur this whether for the older people will not feel excluded because their vote value is not comparable to young people, ladies and gentlemen. On our side, in the end, this will indeed happen, but these people will also consider that it is time for young people to dominate in guarding on the processing their nation. They simply supervise and direct young people with their exercise in the past. This is important because indeed parents can be more accepting and think about the positive impact of a program from the government. So they will support this policy if we implement in the status quo. This also exclusive in our side because giving more weight to young people can make prospective leaders have to carry out campaigners that can indeed convince young people to vote for them and make policies that are in line with the interests of young people as well. Even if the end of the prospective leader does bad ways in campaigns such as political money politic and so on, this will not be a problem in the end because young people will definitely think the long term if they support into this leader, and these young people will not be afraid to divulge the ugliness of the prospective leaders because when they get some money politics, they will refuse it and they will post it into the social media or for their friends that don't choose these leaders because he makes some ugly way to do their campaign. So that's why we really support into this motion today. We are proud to be proposed. Thank you.